Faulkner, everybody. Give her another hand. That was incredible. What an incredible solo. Thank you, my dear. It was beautiful. I'm changing. Boy, can't you feel it? I know I can. I can feel it. It's tingling in the air. It could be the 9-degree morning that we're having, one or the other, but I'm changing, that's for sure. So happy new now and welcome to January 2015. And for many of you this morning, woohoo is right. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living of Castle Rock. So I love to start everything out, and our theme for this month is New Beginnings, Empowering Change. And I like to start absolutely everything out with gratitude. So that's what we're going to do this morning. And so I'm going to shower some gratitude out. And, I got texts and phone calls this morning, starting really early, from a lot of our folks that were letting me know, not shoveling the driveway out today. Due to the weather, we're not coming in. And so, especially some of the folks that I want to shower gratitude on this morning are not going to be here. But you know what? I know that it's all held in consciousness. And as we speak their names and do a shout out for them, it's going to make a difference too. So the first thing that I want to let you know is that we had an incredible year last year here at the center, an incredible month of December. We broke many records last year, and one of the most important records that we broke is in our community giving. We have such an incredible community, a generous heart, and this just warms me to no end, and that is this past holiday season, we did a toy drive and we also adopted a family. And we filled the back of the truck, Christine's truck, with toys, more than we've ever gotten before, that were taken to the task force to give to the kids that came in with their families for support. And we also blew the socks off of the family that we adopted. And I wanted to share with you, this is the picture of Christine's pickup truck in the back when she played Santa that day. And she had written, she was lucky to be able to play Santa and deliver this to a local family today. I am so blessed to be a part of such a generous community, seeing the joy in the little boy's face as he saw all the gifts going around their tree, and hearing the heartfelt thank you from the little girl were true gifts to me. Thanks to all who helped make this happen. So I want to do a huge shout out, next slide, to Christine, because on top of working a full-time job, raising an incredibly busy, beautiful, active family, she still also has so much time to give. And part of that she gives is she organizes and manages a lot of our giving that we do here at the center, especially during the holidays. So I just want to do a huge shout out to this beautiful angel who organized all of the toy drive and all of the adopted the family and went and got to play Santa. And she sent me an email last night. She had loaned her car to a family member who needed to go visit somebody in Conifer last night and couldn't get home. So she couldn't make it here this morning. So she was very sad and sorry, and I just wanted to pass that on. But I'd like for all of us to just give an applause to Christine, even though she's not here. That's right. Because I love this quote by Meher Baba. No amount of prayer or meditation can do what helping others can do. And I really do believe that. Because, we profess up here and in our classes and in our services how much prayer and meditation, how important that is. But I love this quote because isn't it true? Isn't it so true? So thank you, Christine. So you can go to the next slide. And then the other thing that I want to do is a huge shout out. We had an amazing candle lighting service 2 weeks ago. It was just amazing. We blew the roof off of this place, and there were several people that came together to make it amazing and to make that happen. And I'm going to invite every one of you to stand up right now. And you all know who you are, but I'm going to start naming names if you don't stand up. So come on, Valerie. Come on, Cindy. Come on, Greg. Including our drum flash mob that we had during the candle lighting service. Maylin, Amy. Come on, all of you folks know who you are. Lynn, Foster, and then some of the folks who aren't here that also, and Eric in the back, stand up. You're going to receive this too. And a lot of the folks that aren't here, Spencer and Jacob, they helped out. Kathy, we had Maureen and little Mo and Troy and Kim. They were all a part of the secret drumming flash mob we had. It was an incredible candlelighting service, and we could not have done this at all without all of you. So I am, with a heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all of you for making it so beautiful and so special. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was incredible. And you know, I just love how Spirit expresses, how Spirit shows up and expresses through all of these individuals. So grateful for that. So new beginnings, empowering change. Like I said, I can feel it. I love this quote that I'm going to start out with by Mary Murray Shelton. Today, I take the next step toward the year I want to embrace. Just one step is enough to set me onto the path. Just one step. So today we are taking that next step towards the year that we want to embrace. What kind of year is that going to be, folks? 2015, brand new baby year, right out in front of us. Bright and shiny and new. What'd you say, Kathleen? Audacious. I love it. I absolutely love it. I was talking with Sid before the service, and we were all excited about this new year, and I was sharing things with her, and I said, you know, that video camera keeps me dialed down here a little bit, because there's a few words I'd use too about this new year that I probably won't because I'm being videoed, but we're gonna just take that on. It's an audacious new year. You know, there's something I want to ask you though before you put the thing on. So the really cool thing about New Beginnings, Empowering Change, and you know, this being January, almost all of the religious science churches out all over the world really are going over the basics. The Back to Basics is in January. I like to go back to the basics too, and we will a little bit today. We'll sprinkle it in. But I don't like it to be all about the basics, because it's not all about the basics, is it? There's so much more that goes into that, because that's what our key foundation of our teaching is all about, is it really is about change. You know, life is very organic. It's not stagnant. And even when we think it's stagnant and we feel like it's stagnant, it really is still changing. And so that's what we're doing here this morning, is we're going to weave and interweave some of the basics in, but we're also going to talk a little bit and empower each other about go ahead and claiming this brand new baby year, 2015, and what we want that to be and how we want that to show up in our life. So I want to ask you a question. How many of you want change? Yeah, in some part of our life, in some part of my life, I definitely want change. Comic strip, please. So who wants to change? Anybody? Anybody? Cool. See, I knew you guys would raise your hands. You are that awesome. That's right, but that's usually, whoops, go back. That's usually what we end up with. Anybody want change? Yeah. Anybody want to change? No. But we all know the truth, right? If we want change, we know we got to change. That's just all there is to it. So we're going to dive into that. Ernest Holmes says, we are continuously living a new life. And when the old and the new do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded. How nice. Is that easy? Has anybody found that to be easy? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes we're forced to do the discarding of those things that don't fit in our new life and where we want to change. Sometimes we're kind of forced to do that. And sometimes we are audaciously stepping into that experience and being empowered by it. You know? Just like the beautiful woman that used that word, she empowers me every single week, Kathleen. If I could have one iota of energy that she has to clean out her closet, to clean out her things, because that's one area that I definitely want to change with. I think I need a bulldozer at the moment to clean out my office. I'm pretty sure that's what we need at this moment. But it's kind of a mess. So with Ernest Holmes, those things that don't fit nicely together, the old and the new. I want to ask you something. Have you ever tried to carry the past with you into the present moment? Have you ever tried to do that? How did it come out? Not so good. What happens? Sometimes it gets heavy. Sometimes it takes our attention away from the new, right? Sometimes it can cloud the new. Sometimes it can, like, quote, taint the new, right? Yeah? So why do you imagine we do that? Do what? We do. It's so much more comfortable. I'm so glad you used that word, because what I came up with was, it's kind of like our security blanket. I think a lot of times the past feels like our security blanket. We carry this thing around with us, just like those old security blankets and comfy blankets that my little nephew Michael had, and he still has his, and it's as ragged and torn as you can imagine. But that's kind of what happens, isn't it? It tends to be ragged and torn, but we carry those suckers around with us through every new experience, tainting it and having it be heavy, having it taking away from our concentration and our ability to put our focus on the new. And we do it because it's comfortable. Yeah. I think we also do it because we find our identity is tied to it. We think we would lose ourselves if we lost our past. You know, if I were to let go of this particular story or this particular way that I identify with myself, oh my God, I don't know who I would be. I would have to refigure that out, wouldn't I? Well, that sounds new. That sounds kind of fun, actually. So that's what we're talking about here. What does it take to live fully in the unknown without our security blankets of the past, in order to follow the divine urge that is constantly and always within us, saying, let's explore the new together? What does it take to do that? What do you think it takes? Faith. Bingo. Courage. Absolutely. Dedication. Man, can you get up here? I'm just going to sit down. Faith, courage, dedication. I love it. Anybody else? Anybody else out there? Fortitude. Work.
Fun.
Effort. Fun. That helps. That fun helps. Commitment. Absolutely. Passion. Very good. You guys feeling it? What does it take? I mean, because by this time, because I know all of you guys are pretty darn advanced with all of this. I know that. By this time, we kind of know this stuff. Are we still living it? Is anybody still kind of dragging a piece of the past into the new now? Some nods of yes, yes, yes. All right. So it kind of comes down to a choice, doesn't it? We are always free to choose the new. Always free to choose the new. We're going back to the first chapter of the Science Mind textbook, The Thing Itself. And what is it that we learn? He puts it out there, man. I love it. I love how Ernest Holmes does not dilly-dally around with that first chapter. He puts it, bam, all on the table, right then and there. He just states it all. We live in a limitless, powerful universe. And absolutely everything that you experience, you have experienced it because you've thought it and you've created it. I mean, there is no way to backtrack from that, is there? There is no way. There is no way. And so when we want to bring out all of these wonderful qualities that we know is what we know in our heart is what it's going to take to let go of those security blankets of the past and to follow that divine urge within us that is constantly saying, let's explore the new together. We need that faith and that commitment and that courage and that passion and that fun and all of those other things that you all came up with when I asked the question. So in the text, the first chapter, Ernest Holmes says, suppose that the creative intelligence of the universe would create a person in bondage and leave them bound. To suppose that would be to dishonor the creative power that we call God. Are you guys with me on that? Yeah. Just think about that for a second. Boom. That's like the first page right there on the table. There is no way that we can, by any chance, wiggle ourselves around that. Even if we tried to go to victim mode, even if we tried to give lots of excuses and reasons why we're carrying this past into the new right now, we can't possibly argue that. The creative intelligence of the universe would never create something and then leave them bound. And so what does that mean? If we know we're not bound in anything, then that means something else. To suppose that God would make man an individual, I'm meaning to take out the man and say person, sorry. To suppose that God would make a person as an individual without leaving them to discover themselves would be to suppose an impossibility. Bam, another one. So this pretty much says that we've been created and we're supposed to discover ourselves. You know, we're not being told how to be. Nobody went up to you, Cindy, and said, okay, Cindy, this is exactly how you need to be, and this is how you need to act, these are the choices you need to make, and this is the kind of life you need to live. There you go. Gee, that's not how it works. And that isn't freedom, is it? No. So who gets to make the choice of the life that we live? We do. I love this. This last Beyond Limits class, really awesome class. You know, who's in charge, folks? We are. We are in charge. That's right. And so going on in the text, it says individuality must be spontaneous. You see, we've been created to discover ourselves. And so Ernest Holmes goes on to say, individuality must be spontaneous. It can never be automatic. The seed of freedom must be planted in the innermost being of every person, and every person must make the great discovery for themselves. So I think that's why we sometimes step into the new and drag that security blanket of the past in with us, and we have those experiences. You see, I know for a fact that the universe supports us in every way. The universe says yes to everything that we think. It is non-discriminate. And what that means is it's not going to say yes to Cindy and not to Greg. It's not going to say yes to Maylin and not to Lynn. It's just not going to do it. It's not going to say yes to Karen and not Amy. It just says yes. That's all it knows to do. We plant into the universal substance our seed, our thought. And the universal law says yes, every single time. So see how I'm kind of weaving a little bit of the basics into this? You guys with me so far? I'm trying to do it where, you know, it has meaning so that we can go out of here today and apply it. So today, based on what I just read from Ernest Holmes, today I simply choose to be free. What if it was all about that? What if it was all about that? I am always free to choose the new. Now, Patrick Farron, one of our ministers in the movement, said this once. He said, I imagine that's why they called this movement New Thought. It requires a movement in thought that equals a divine movement in consciousness. So I'm going to read that again. Maybe that's why our movement is called New Thought, because it requires a movement in thought that equals a divine movement in consciousness. It's a new now. Happy new now. You see, we have been given this power. We've been created without the means of being bound. We're not bound by anything. And we've been created with the means of discovering ourselves. Full-fledged freedom, just like this baby brand new year that we have before us right here and now. And so January sets the foundation for us. It sets the foundation for our year ahead, or it can. I mean, it's a happy new now, so December can set the foundation for the year ahead of us if he wants to. But since we're in January, we're going to kind of focus on that right now. January is a number 1. Ones are new beginnings. It's the birth of something new. It needs to begin within you. Does that kind of make sense, right? Hopefully. So you're going to want to focus on your goals, focus on your performance, focus on your results. You know, this is all about that stuff of what's coming up for us and what we read about. It's all in our face, especially this past week. You know, resolutions, intentions, what do you want to focus on? Let's lay the foundation for a really good super duper year. Wonderful. So what do we do with the security blanket of the past? Are we willing to let that go? What if our intention is to know completely that the creative intelligence that created us would not create something that is bound, and so we are free? And what if we knew completely that we're here to discover ourselves and that the universe supports us in absolutely every way? Let me give you an example of that just happened for me. The universe supports me every single step. And one of the things that I love about this teaching, and I might just jump ahead here because it kind of works for me to do that every now and then. Can we go to the slide with the guy standing in it? Thank you. So I'm going to read this to you because I've been pondering this quote all week long. If the only challenges you are facing in life right now are the ones that life has thrown at you, then you are not directing your own destiny. You are merely reacting to the world. You are not guiding yourself. The greatest challenges we face in life should be the ones that we decide to take on because we have a bold vision for ourselves. That is how you know you are consciously designing your life. I've been really sitting with this quote for a while now. I am sitting with it because it's my desire always to boldly, consciously design my life. It's my desire. It's not always what I do. You see, I don't know if you guys experience this or not. I'm just going to tell you what I experience. I have goals, I have intentions, I have desires, and I apply myself to them, and I experience them, and I come into them, and then I kind of lay back and take a little mini vacation. Life is good. It's starting to feel a little soft. I start to get really relaxed. And then I don't pick up on additional goals and stuff like that to work towards. And so then what happens, if my challenges that I'm facing right now are all the ones that life is throwing at me, that doesn't feel very empowering, does it? It usually, for me, feels like I'm reacting instead of being proactive. And I want to be proactive with my life. And so some areas in my life where I have a bold vision for is in regards to my fitness. You know, brand new baby year, January, it's a new start, laying a foundation, that kind of thing. I'm ready to get back on the horse. I'm ready to get off gluten and wheat and sugar, and I've been off of it for a few days. I feel great. And I'm just going to every single day, because it's one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time. Well, you know how the universe supports us in every way. I haven't had one of these in years, but this week I got hit with a massive gallbladder attack. And does anybody here know what a gallbladder attack is? For those of you that don't know, it is probably one of the most horrendously painful things that you could go through, and it's a long time in happening. It generally lasts for hours and hours and hours. And so while I'm experiencing this, there's that part of me that has to laugh. You know, the universe supports me in every way. So I can tell you, by God, for the last 2 to 3 days after that massive gallbladder attack, I had no desire whatsoever to eat anything that was going to rattle that up again. You see how the universe is supporting me there? No desire whatsoever. And so that really helped because, you know, food is an addiction, sugar's an addiction, wheat, gluten, anything that sparks chemical reactions in our bodies are an addiction. And it's kind of hard sometimes to work through that. And so I managed to manifest perfect support to work through that. Darn it. How awesome is that, y'all? But you know, that's where I want to go with saying, you know, if you feel like something is against you right now, it's not. It really isn't. Because we're fully supported in our thoughts and our intentions and what it is that we want to manifest and guide and direct in our life. We just are. You know, Dr. David Alt just wrote a book. It's entitled, The Grass is Greener Where You Are. And I absolutely love the title. I have not read the book yet. I can't wait. But I love the title because the grass is always greener where you are. And do you know why I know that's true? It's because where you are is where you can see it and feel it and taste it and experience it. It's the only place it can be green because that's where you are. Anything else is simply an illusion that you have created in mind. And what I mean by that is this really cool quote by Rajneesh. He says, "One moment is enough. Live it. And then live the next moment that comes. But we dream and project and create an illusionary world, and then again and again it comes up against reality. Reality is not going to be shattered by your dreams. The dreams will shatter. So learn a lesson," he says. "Don't project worlds. They create frustrations and misery and anguish. Just live in the moment, that's all. And then wait and see what you create in the next moment, and see what you create in the next moment." You see, our grass, where we are right now, and our life, and our health, and our community, is what it is because we are there and present in the moment. And I can affect this grass and this health and this life of mine and this community by the thoughts that I think and the intentions that I hold dear in my heart, by utilizing my courage and my faith and my passion and my play and all of those things. And I can be real and human and say, oh, that looks a little bit like some past I brought into this new experience, so maybe I better clean that up a little bit right now. Maybe I need to stop and do what I need to do to process whatever past we may be dragging around and don't even know. Because that's generally what happens. I mean, by the time we're in this place, we know this stuff. But sometimes we get surprised by it, by those challenges that life throws us, and then we realize we've got some past and some security blanket that we're carrying around. And so what do we want to do with that? How do we want to experience this brand new baby year of 2015? I mean, I know how I'm planning on experiencing it. And I told Sid how I was planning on experiencing it. And it's bold, and it's brazen, and it's auspicious. Because I can tell you right now, standing here, I am more confident, I am more strong, I am more clear than I was 2 weeks ago. And that's just going to keep happening, and just going to keep happening. Because that's been my focus and my intention. And I don't want the only challenges that I'm dealing with in life to not be the ones that I've chosen. I want to choose my own challenges, darn it. Don't you? I would imagine it'd be a lot easier. And so to bring that into awareness, one of the things that we're kicking off this year is, and there's a sign-up sheet in the back. It is, it's a great slogan because I never can remember it. You guys get the, yeah, you got it, didn't you? The joke there. Becoming spiritually fit, strong, and lean in 2015. It's a program that we're launching. It's huge. It's a huge program. We're going to use some of our spiritual fitness curriculum to work on the spiritual fitness aspect. We're going to set a goal because they just renovated the incline at Manitou Springs, and so it's brand new, renovated. And we're going to set a goal on the 1st of June to take a group up and walk it. And so we're going to start training for it. For all of those that want to get into a different aspect of their health, maybe shed a few pounds, we're partnering with Kaiser's Weigh and Win program, where it doesn't cost a single dime to join, but you get paid money to lose weight. We're partnering with all of the practitioners, health practitioners and alternative health practitioners within our congregation. They're going to come and kind of present what they do and give little talks at our meetings. We're going to be there to support each other. We're going to train together 3 times a week outside at the new steps, at the new park that they just built. It's going to be an incredible program. And you can participate as much or as little into it as you want. And there's no cost. But it's about stepping into this brand new baby year. And a lot of that has to do with my personal goals. And you know, if I'm going through some personal goals, I'm going to take you all with me so I can have your support. Doesn't that make sense? And apply that spiritual fitness along the way, because we have an incredible spiritual fitness curriculum that is an accredited program through our center. And so I just wanted to let you know that's going on for our brand new baby year to experience. And so back to January, being number 1, first of the month, first of the year, new beginnings. It's the birth of something new. We all get to pick that and create it. So I'm kind of bringing us back to that. Another part that's in the first chapter of the Science of Mind text, the thing itself, is my favorite quote, and you'll see it in the bulletin every single week. The answer to the prayer is in the prayer. And one of the reasons why that's my favorite quote is it has many, many, many meanings. You can dissect that quote many different ways. And one way that we're going to do it this morning is the answer to the prayer is in the prayer. It's in the one doing the praying. And so what I mean by that is there is a place in me that no matter what is going on in my life, whether it is good or it has the appearance to contradict good, I am bigger than all of it. I know this. I can handle anything in my life that shows up, and even more than just handle it, I know that I have the power within me to transform my life instantly in mind, which equals a change in my experience. This is what I personally get out of the first chapter of the Science of Mind text, the thing itself. That's the power we're talking about here, folks. And so the answer to the prayer is in the prayer. The answer is always within you. Because just like Maylin's song, you are not alone. You're never alone. The vast amount of energy that has created absolutely everything that has ever been created and absolutely everything that is ever to be created is within you. That infinite intelligence, that energy, that power, all we have to do is tap into it. All we have to do is provide a space for it to show up in our life. I recommend daily, through prayer, meditation, service. And I don't mean to belittle it. I don't mean to belittle challenges. I don't mean to belittle things that can come up and smack us clear across the face without us even expecting it. I don't mean to be making that small. What I mean to do is by saying, this is life, folks. I experience life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the painful, the joyous, the happy. I experience all of it, sometimes on a daily basis. It's life. But what kind of life do we want to live? There will be times when things are going to come up and surprise the heck out of us. How do we want to handle that? What choices do we have? Because we know we're not bound, and we know we're free, and we know that we are here to kind of release ourselves into the world. We're here to identify and understand ourselves to the nth degree. And I'm sure you've heard it. It's like peeling back the layer, peeling back the onion. It'll go around, and it'll go around again, and it'll go around again. But I tell you what, I always feel stronger and more alive and more vibrant after one of those challenges. I really do. Because it causes me to get real. It causes me to see that green grass of where I am right now. And it causes me to take a look at it and to smell it and touch it and think about it and make choices about it and to get clear with my intentions. How often do we do that on a daily basis? And so thank God for the universe supporting me in every way to give me those opportunities to get really clear about how I want this happy new now to be experienced in my life. So what I'd like to share with you is a poem. You know, I share poems every now and then. Poetry is a really great way to reach in and grab our hearts and our souls. And this is a poem called Awakening. And it's written by Melissa LaFlemme. And so I invite you to take the words in. Just feel them. Decide whether they have any meaning or feeling for you personally. Out of the depths of unruly love, your soul reaches for a sacrament to kindle a honey fire for your smoldering, longing for everything real, natural, human. You are drawn in, captured by the strong scent of your own soul's persistent ache for spontaneous combustion of your raw purpose. Allured, scared, sacred, you are slayed, and I am here with you in this dizzying, shimmering humanity as the core of you opens, giving away to an essence that reveals the quiet seed of you that waits to bear the fruit, dripping with juices of the provenance of your artful, unchained way. You are beckoned to a numinous, impossible thirst for that barely known danger of being terribly, beautifully, madly alive, stripped bare to the ground of all being. Here, now, you live in your raving heart, vulnerable, ravished, undone, and messy in a world where anything but is accepted as the safe way to belong. So that poem really spoke to me, and it spoke to my talk this morning. Happy New Now. It's the whole enchilada, folks. Life is juicy. Life is sacred. Life is meaningful. And life is exactly how we choose to define it in this moment, right here and right now. Science Mind Text, first chapter, again, to learn how to think is to learn how to live. To learn how to think is to learn how to live. All thought is creative. And so I'm going to end the talk this morning with kind of a list that's been going around. There we go. Spiritually literate New Year's resolutions. I thought this was really good. It's really spoken to me. And it's been kind of going around and shared amongst all of us ministers this past couple of weeks. And I thought I would share it with you guys this morning. I put it up here so that you can read it with me. Number 1, I will live in the present moment. I will not obsess about the past or worry about the future. Everybody with me so far? Pretty good. Number 2, I will cultivate the art of making connections. I will pay attention to how my life is intimately related to all of the life on the planet. Number 3, I will be thankful for all the blessings in my life. I will spell out my days with a grammar of gratitude. Number 4, I will practice hospitality in a world where too often strangers are feared, enemies are hated, and the other is shunned. I will welcome guests and alien ideas with graciousness. Number 5, I will seek liberty and justice for all, and I will work for a free and fair world. Going on to the next slide, number 6, I will add to the planet's fund for goodwill by practicing little acts of kindness, brief words of encouragement, and manifold expressions of courtesy. Number 7, I will cultivate the skill of deep listening. I will remember that all things in the world want to be heard, as do the many voices inside of me. Number 8, I will practice reverence for life by seeing the sacred in, with, and under all things of the world. And number 9, I will give up trying to hide, deny, or escape from my imperfections. I will listen to what my shadow side has to say to me. Number 10, I will be willing to learn from the spiritual teachers all around me, however unlikely or unlike me they may be. That really spoke to me. So I am ready to begin this brand new baby year, this happy new now, with this incredible, audacious, is that the word you used? Audacious, bold, brazen, courageous, with faith and courage and play, and all of those other things that came up when we were talking about them at the beginning, of what does it take? What does it take to reach within, connect with the truth of your being, allow yourself to see that you've got some security blankets you may be dragging around, and to decide whether you want to let go of them or not, so that you can experience this new now for exactly what it is, the power of the new now. I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Yeah. All right. So let's go to the second to last slide there. Understand this great truth. The happiness that comes from the pleasures of the world is but a minute reflection of the infinite bliss that comes from within your own self. Think about it. Feel that bliss. Take yourself back to a moment where you have touched and felt the bliss that is within you, that is always there. And I invite you, as you move into each happy new now, I invite you to connect consistently and consciously with that bliss. And the last slide just really struck me and is kind of how I'd like to end it. A good life is when you assume nothing, do more, need less, smile often, dream big, laugh a lot, and realize how blessed you are. I am truly blessed, folks. How about you? Let's go into prayer, knowing that as we take into this